Man to man, combat hand to hand, hands locked, ready for the last stand, elbow drops, kicks fade bang. If I can hate you, levitate, better settle mate, lights out, knocked out by the heavyweight.
It's Toby from Heavyweight MMA. Today with Rocky Ogden, experienced Muay Thai fighter from Australia. How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good, bro. How are you going yourself?
Good, good. Hey, just looking at your record, man, you had a good 2021. Not as many fights as you like, but you had a good win on Eruption 20 with Van Pham, and also you stepped into the boxing and had a good win with a first round KO over Fred Mundrabi. What's your plans for 2022, bro?
Yeah, it was good to have those two fights. Obviously, like you said, better to be a bit active in that, but it is what it is with COVID. But these plans now is just to dial down and focus on the MMA and try to that's like my new path now, and take it as far as I can with that. So I'm having my first fight on March 19. So that's pretty exciting. I'm really excited to get in there and showcase my skills and that, you know.
And it is very exciting, man. It's not everyone that can take that step and step outside their comfort zone. You've done it. You'll be doing it twice in 2 years, bro. You're stepping up now into MMA. That's like the true martial artist, man. So, like you said, March 19th, Eternal MMA 65, fighting Matt Seedham, man. How do you see that going?
Look, he's had a lot of fights, like Muay Thai fights. He's been around for a while. Like, he takes tough fights and that. But I just think, I'm not trying to talk bigger, but I just think my skills are better than him. And I'm just going to, I'm working on everything, covering all grounds and everything. Yeah, I think I'll get the job done if I just, fight my fight.
Yeah, man, looking at both of you, you seem a little bit sharper, I would say, in the stand-up. But do you think that could be evened out by Matt's a bit more experience? He's 0-3 in MMA, but still some of the guys he's fought aren't bums, man. He fought like a guy that's for the Eternal title in, what was that guy's name? Paul Loga. He's a good fighter. He fought pretty well. And he would have that. Would he have the edge of grappling, man? I'm not sure. I haven't heard about your grappling experience.
Oh, look, I've trained with a few good guys. Like, I'm pretty confident in my grappling and obviously my striking, but, I'm not here for the easy route. I want a tough fight. I don't want to just fight someone I know I'm going to beat. And I'm confident I'm going to win, but you know what I mean? I want a bit of a test. But yeah, we'll find out on the night.
That's awesome, man. Hey, what have you done for your grappling out of interest? Because it usually takes some time to get that as a base, same with Muay Thai, I guess it takes some time to develop. How long have you been working on grappling?
I've been a bit off and on in the past couple of years because I was still focused on the Muay Thai mainly. But I've trained with good guys like Reese McLaren, all those guys down at Puma. I've just been off and on training with a lot of guys, but now I'm doing a lot of good quality BJJ down at Virtue. They got a few black belts and brown belts. I got a good little thing going on and doing some good wrestling with the toughers and that. So they're helping out a lot. But obviously there's always room for improvement, but that's, we're just getting started. But I'm definitely not new at it. You know what I mean? I think people think I'm just a striker and they're going to take me down and that. But I don't want to be that guy. I'm pretty confident I can do everything.
To be honest, man, if I was your weight and I was coming up for a fight against you, that's the first thing I'll be doing, because who wants to stand and strike with you, bro? So I guess you have to be ready. Well, you can see, man, it's been successful method through UFC these days. That swings up and down, but at the moment you've still got a couple of guys like Israel Adesanya, obviously mad striking experience that have developed their grappling enough that they can keep things on the feet pretty well or get up from the ground and strike where they want to. Yeah, so it's a good thing, bro. Yeah, man. So would you be able to talk on your fight record? It's hard to find a real fight record. I don't know if you've got an exact one. Like online, I see some things saying 40 plus fights, blah, blah. What is your actual fight record, man?
Yeah, so a real one is 45 fights. Oh, now that's including the boxing. 45 fights, 37 wins, and 12 KOs. But sometimes in Thailand, sometimes they change your record on that without you knowing, so it mixes it up a bit. But that's my current record. Yeah, man.
That's great. And also just to quickly touch on, I saw that you'd won the WPMF Bantamweight title, world title before. What other sort of titles have you held? You've held national titles as well, right?
Oh, I won the WACO or that. But I always had this thing. I always thought in Australia, a lot of the time people were fighting for belts, and then there weren't real belts. You know what I mean? I never wanted to just like a trophy. I never wanted that. I always wanted my belt to be a proper belt, mainly in Thailand or something like that. And that's what happened. My first belt was for a world title over in Thailand in the middle of Bangkok. So that was it all worked out how I wanted it, I never wanted just like the fake belts and all that stuff. I think people get a bit fixated on just having so many belts and that, and then it makes you the champ. But in reality, there's killers overseas that they would beat anyone. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, true. It doesn't make sense, right? Like I can make some sort of association right now and fight my brother in the same country for the belt, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, understood, man. So I wanted to kick off into just your history and background, if that's all right, man. I know you've talked about it before, but we'll just touch on it a bit, man. So you started in martial arts when you were a young fella. You did Taekwondo. Your dad sort of influenced you into doing that. Is that something that's still in your game? I have seen you do like a spinning hook kick in one of your fights, man.
Yeah, for sure. Like you can't really. I try not to lose it. And even my Thai trainer's passed away now, Sang Chinoy. He'd change everyone's styles and pick what was good for them. And he'd always work on my spin kicks, which is unusual for Thais to work on, but it was cool little edge that we had, especially in Thailand. If you win by like a fancy spin kick or a spinning elbow or something, you get like a 50,000 baht payout or 100,000, from the bettors and all that, from the stadium. Sorry. But yeah, now that I'm doing MMA, I'm definitely still incorporating all that in my game for sure. Like you can't just go in with a straightforward like style, you know what I mean? It's a different style. You can add so much more to your game, which is exciting.
No, that's it, man. I mean, when you get the opportunity, when you feel confident, you can throw those crazy kicks, and
exactly.
fans love it too, man. You know, not just the bettors,
yeah. I think sometimes people are a bit crazy with them, but yeah, I think that's the problem in Thailand because the betting people tend to lose that style of it. But yeah, it's definitely, if you land a good one, that's a good night. You know what I mean?
That's it, man. And when you took a little break, and then you found a good Thai boxing gym to start up when you were a young fella, right? Around 16, was it? Or 14 or 16, you started training again?
Yeah. 15. Oh, 14, 15, yeah. I can't quite remember exactly, but it would have been in between there.
And man.
Yeah. I stopped when I was like 12 and then just became like a little skater kid. And I was doing that for a bit. And then my brothers started training again. And they're like, oh, you got to come down. And I was like, nah, I don't want to. And I went down. And as soon as I got back to the gym, it was just that feeling again. And then from then on, I haven't really stopped. But yeah. So what were you saying?
I was going to say, man, it's so surprising that you're a young guy and you actually want to go to Thailand, man. So at 16, you wanted to go to Thailand, and you suddenly found yourself living in Bangkok City, man. Like when I think back to 16, man, I had absolutely no idea. I'm happy living in my little house, staying in Australia. I can't imagine having a thought like going to Bangkok to train, man. Where did that come from, you know?
I think like obviously I had a bit of talent, the parents seen it and that. And then in my head, I didn't want to go to university or anything like that. My perspective was I want to be the best fighter and I want to do it properly. So I may as well go to the place where they're doing it properly. You know what I mean? Like it's like a university, but as a fighter. And then I was always into like the old school trainings. I would watch like the old Rockies and all that style. So I wanted that real hard Thai style training. You know what I mean? Obviously, I didn't know how crazy it was, but when I was 16, I met a Thai trainer, and he was over at Ogden Muay Thai. And then I was training with him for a month, and then I had a fight from him coming from like other gyms. And then once I trained with him, it changed a whole new level to my game. And after that, everyone we all agreed, okay, I got to go train with him and live overseas and do it properly. And then before I knew it, I was overseas living there. So it's kind of a dream come true, and it's a bit crazy, but like I think if I did it a different way, I wouldn't have been the same fighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, it's amazing. And what did it feel like? Like, where are you from in Australia, man?
Originally, I lived like down up Sunshine Coast way, but I moved to Gold Coast for better gyms and that. So I based myself from the Gold Coast. That's where I'm living now.
So being a young fella in Queensland and suddenly find yourself in Bangkok City, man, it'd be a culture shock to begin with. And then within 3 weeks, you're fighting at Rajadamnern, and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Man. How'd the whole experience feel for a young fella?
Oh, because I went there for a month and then I came home and then I went back originally. But the first month, I did not expect to be fighting there at all. Like, so it was a bit of like, to be honest, I was shitting myself being like a little. I think that was like my second full Thai rules fight as well. So I was so nervous, never done the 5-3s, nothing like that. And then all of a sudden, they said, "Oh, you're fighting here." I'm like, "Holy shit!" Like, so I think I wasn't ready to do that. Like, I kind of in the ring, I didn't get hurt anything, but I just wouldn't go. Like, I learned that it's really important to listen to your trainers. If they tell you to do this, you got to just do it. You can't hesitate when you're in the ring, because then you just lose. But yeah, but after that fight, I kind of got a grueling from the trainers outside, like, you're shit, you're never going to be nothing. But then, you know, how the Thais are, they're a bit rough like that. But then that kind of really stuck with me. And then once I went home, I said to him, I'm going to come back. And I promise I'll be different. Then I came back, and I think I won 9 fights in a row, knockout, just because I had that mentality of like, I'm never going to let that happen again, you know. But yeah, it was a very like crazy experience. And without it, yeah, it taught me a lot of little things about just fighting in general. So,
I think just the fact that you put yourself outside, like again, putting yourself outside that comfort zone, man, that's amazing, really, for a 16-year-old to do that. My son's 16, bro, and he's at his house playing computer games, bro. I can't imagine him taking the step to jump to another city in the world and live there and train hard, man. So I think it's it shows your personality that you're willing to step outside that comfort zone. Man, you talked about the Thais being a bit rough. Out of interest, can you talk on their culture a bit, bro? Because like I'm in an Asian culture as well, and they are different, man. Like they'll tell you how it is in China as well.
I love it.
They go, "Oh, you're very fat now." Like they're really straight up with things. There's a whole different culture sort of feeling, man. Can you talk on that?
Yeah, 100%. You hit the nail on the head. People like here is a lot different over there. Like you said, they're so straightforward with everything. So especially even at training, like remember, no matter what, they'll be, oh, like they're just always trying to break you down and that. But even outside of that, like I love the Asian culture. Like even now at home here, everything I eat is Asian. I live like an Asian. You know, I feel like I was an Aussie, but born like an Asian born in an Aussie body or something. Sometimes sounds weird, but yeah. Like even everything, like the water it's just a different lifestyle, especially where I came from. You're showering with like 10 people outside in a big tub of water. You use the bucket, but it's cool. It's all like, especially when you're with the boys and your team, it's just a cool experience. You really got to go there and live there to just like get into the culture and really feel it. But some people don't understand it, but like for me, I could go live there tomorrow and I'll be quite happy.
Yeah, man, it's a funny thing. Like I've been overseas for a while, and when I'm in Australia, I didn't realize that people in these other countries actually think different and do everything different. Like you don't know if you actually step out. Like I thought we're all the same. Then you go to a country like I'm in China, and they're just thinking completely differently, and you learn some things they do are great, better. Some things they do are worse. So it's like, but you take what you like, and appreciate that. Eh? It's good because it opens your mind, bro, about other things.
Yeah, I think a big thing that they do have over there is good is like their respect. They respect their elders, like everything. You know what I mean? You got to like wide everyone, like you show respect to everyone. You speak better. So I think that's good. Like even like wearing shoes in the house, like they'll never wear shoes in a house. Little things like that I really like and appreciated, like adapting that from there.
Yeah, man. Those family ties are real tight, and they're collectivists. They call collectivists, so they work together. Man, ties are the same as a lot of the other Asian races, and they work on a lot of things. And Nuggets actually mentioned that before, that in Thailand and some of the other places that are successful with fighting, all the promoters, even everyone sort of works together, whereas they don't do so much in Australia because that's what it is. It's a cultural thing. There's collectivists and individualists, and in Australia, everyone's worried about themselves.
Yeah,
over there,
100%.
So it's a different feeling, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
Man, so when you're in Thailand, you mentioned before, you trained under Sang Tien Noi, the Deadly Kisser, man. How was that?
Yeah. Oh, it's like, it's one of those ones, like you need to really experience it and feel how it is. But he was the best. I think he was just really unique with the way he would teach, and like everything he'd have in his notebook, just how you cut weight. When you fight, you sit down and you sit there for hours, sometimes just talking to him about your plan for your fight. There's so many little details, and he just was so passionate about it. It's really sad that he's passed away now and how it all happened. But yeah, I think I got a really good connection with him when I went there for the first 5 months, because I had 5 fights, and on my 5th fight, I fought for the belt. But then he was getting out, and I had to push him up the hill on bikes and stuff. And he's not a little dude, but man, there's some trainers that are just quite unique, and it's like they come around every now and then, but he was one of those guys. And yeah, I wish he was still around to just keep sharing his knowledge and that. But yeah, it's such a knowledgeable guy. And now his son Moses is taking over, and he's doing quite good with the camp and that. But yeah.
Good, man. Lucky that you've had that time with him while you were in Thailand, man. Lucky that you can take that on your fighting, eh?
Yeah, and he's had so much success, not just with the Thais, but training the foreigners. Like, man, the amount of Thais that are at different gyms now that came from his gym, but then they all branched out. Obviously, when they get older, that's what they do. But yeah, there's so many. You don't realize how many different people have come from there. And like even the foreigners, like John Wayne, Chad Collins, me, Samon Decker, so many people. Like, but yeah, definitely. If you got the chance to go there, you definitely understand. Like, it would have been a good experience for you.
And man, you mentioned about being tested by you in Thailand, whipping you with a stick and everything like that. Can you talk on that? Like, how does that differ with what you've seen in Australia anyway?
Oh yeah, people. I don't think people get it. It's a different world over there. Even the Thais, like you might even you're training. You're so buggered because you're doing the same thing twice a day, every day, 3-hour sessions. But there's no room to be lazy or tired. You only like, how do you say? Like you're the one trying to make yourself good. So like if you want to be lazy, that's up to you. So you got to push yourself. Like once you get in the ring, it's only you and that guy. They can only help you so much outside of the gym. Outside of in the gym and that. But yeah, him, like sometimes you're feeling so tired, then you just hear him go, and he'll walk away and he's going to get his stick. And then just your hand, sometimes you get whipped in the face because your hand's a little bit low. But hey, like it really it checks you, And people here, they get so upset about it. Even Nugget, if he tries to keep that culture in the gym, a lot of people don't understand it. They don't realize that they're trying to help you, and it's a bit of a respect and discipline, It sucks. You hate it, but you love it. But I always wanted that old school training. I think it just brings success to fighters. But also having a good understanding. Like it wasn't always just angry, you know what I mean? He would do that, then he would sit down and explain to you after, hey, if you do this, he's got to do this and that. But yeah, even the Thais that you're training with, they're always testing you. Like the first months when you're there, like you're never just getting away with anything. When they're clinching you, they're grabbing your head, kneeing you on the face. Like it's just different. People don't get it, but it's a make or break thing, you know what I mean? So I think anyone that wants or thinks they want to be a fighter needs to go to those gyms just to see, okay, do I want to do this or not? Because it's just different. It's real, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. And also like in that environment, man, like you're with so many different lines, right? You've got so many fighters over there. You wouldn't feel like you're super special, right? And it'd be hard training just to keep up with everyone. But I'm imagining in somewhere like Australia, people are a little bit more like self-important in that, thinking that they're the number one, but they're not.
Too many. There's too many. It definitely not humbles you, but you definitely get a good understanding of where you're at. You're not even that, but you're working together with each other, and this guy's a killer. There's always someone out there that's going to test you and help you, but you need those guys to push you in the gym. You know what I mean? You can't just be walking around thinking you're the best, and then when you go over there and you train with them and see them train, you're like, holy shit, like I'm not, like, But then when you go in with that mentality, like the way we train over there, and even now I'm training hard, like you go on, you feel so dead and that, but then you go into the fight, and when you're in that like 4th round or 3rd round, when you're both testing each other, you seem to be able to, in the back of your head, okay, I've done the work and I can keep pushing, and then you get the win. So it definitely helps your mentality.
That's awesome, man. You mentioned Nugget and training at NTG a minute ago.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that, man? Like, how is the training there, and what do you appreciate there?
Yeah, Nugget's very similar to like the Thai. Like he's been around forever. You know what I mean? Even the guys are still in the gym. Like everyone's still there, and like I think that's what I was missing when I came back to Australia. That style of training, like where if you're doing something, they're watching you, you're scared, you don't want to be lazy. But he's really good, and he's really big on, you got to show up to training every day. There's no, today I'm going to go to dinner, or you got to be disciplined, show up to training as a team, or do things together. So he's really good with that, and they helped me out a lot, taking care of me. And now we're going down the MMA path, so we're excited to see where that takes us. You know what I mean? But yeah, definitely the closest, because like he lived in Thailand for 7 years as well, so he's got that same style of culture and that. But yeah, definitely a good mix we got going on in the gym. We got some killers coming up too, like Kane and G and all those guys. Yeah, they're all getting better every day.
That's awesome, man. So could you talk about like what's your schedule at the moment? Like, how do you train? Are you training like twice a day for a few hours each day, or what?
Yeah, twice or sometimes 3 times a day, trying to just get all my skills up and that. But I'm loving it. I'm loving the different stuff that I'm learning and like adapting to. It's awesome. That's why I really wanted to do the MMA. But at the moment, I'm doing like, it might be, obviously it's still trial and error. Like everything I do, like 1 week, you see how you feel doing this, see how you feel doing that. But we got something good going on, and it's getting better. Obviously doing the strength and conditioning, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and then my striking, and mixing it all together. And then, yeah, there's a lot, too much to even go through. Like, but it's awesome. I'm loving it.
Yeah,
Feeling
man.
stronger every day.
When you're adding all these things in, it just makes it such a complicated thing. And like you said, it's going to take trial and error for you to really work out yourself what you need to be working
Sure,
on. Yeah. On that, man, like your focus on the MMA, does it change your training a lot? I mean, how much are you dedicating to each side at the moment anyway?
Not doesn't change too much. I'm still obviously my style of striking, but I'm mixing it. I'm gonna change my style a bit from the basic Muay Thai to, you just got to adjust a little bit, but not too much. A lot of look at Israel Adesanya, all those guys, they're so like elite with their striking, but I think people think, oh, you're a striker, your jiu-jitsu shit, your wrestling's no good, just take you down. But it's not like that. Like, obviously I'm practicing a lot, my defense, and even takedown. Like, I'm not just worrying about getting takedown. Like, I'm trying to put it on you and put you down as well. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not just going in there to strike you. Like, I want to go in there and wrestle you, just make it like, I'm always try to be an all-round fighter. I remember people, even in Muay Thai, would go, what's your favorite strike? What's your favorite thing? I was like, I don't think you should have one. If you do, you're limiting yourself. I think you should be good at everything. You got to, because you don't know, every fight is different. So you got to be able to adapt to that opponent. Yeah. So that's the way that's just my thoughts on it and that.
Yeah, man. And how do you think your style switches over to MMA? Because there's obviously different styles that fit better into MMA. What do you think about the way yours will transition?
Like, from how I'm training and how
from
I
how
feel,
you fight, from your style
good,
of Muay Thai, how does that translate? Because some people, if they're real high sitting up, it might be taken down as an example. Yeah, or patient for the fighters is not going to maybe work as well in MMA.
Nah,
about yours?
Yeah, definitely just stuff like that, just working on those little things. But, like, when you kind of understand striking, you can kind of it's not too hard to adjust it. Obviously, just adjusting my levels, little things, a bit more movement, just little things like that. But yeah, I'm confident with my striking and that. So yeah, we'll just keep improving, keep going, see how it gets us.
That's good, man. And how do you feel about, like, you've done a few different things? You've fought normal Thai boxing with your bigger gloves. You've fought in 1FC with the small gloves. You've fought boxing now. How does it feel fighting in the different styles, different promotions? And what do you prefer? Like, what's your favorite thing to be fighting or so far,
Obviously, I love the Muay Thai, but now I'm on a different journey. But, like, I always wanted to have a boxing fight, and we got a good coach down, Steve Wodenko. And then, because my Muay Thai fights got cancelled, just all COVID shit. So I thought I'll jump in the same date and do a boxing fight. And then that's kind of veered. Like, everyone kind of wanted me to do boxing for a bit. And I was but then my thought process was like, all the Muay Thai skills I've got and my style is a lot more like fitted for the MMA. I feel like if I'm doing boxing, I'm not giving like my whole style, you know what I mean? I got so much more to offer than that. So I really want to dial down and focus on the MMA. And just keep improving and keep, trying to chase that path, obviously, to get to UFC and become a champion and represent Australia. Yeah, that's my like, my visions in that.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. We just had the first UFC fight at Della Maddalena on the weekend after starting in Eternal or fighting in Eternal as well, right? So
good win too.
There, and he had a great win, man. That was amazing. Top guy as well, man. So, man, what is it, do you think, that makes you different, man? You're a young guy from the start. You've been training so hard. Like, what is it inside you that makes you get up every day and train like you do? What makes you above the normal people that would prefer to just stay in bed or do a little bit of training, man?
I think just that, like, I wouldn't say I'm different. It's just the work I put in. Like, you got to choose, do I want to be, like, sometimes I'll train with lazy people and that, and then people seem to just go, okay, he's being like, I'll be lazy with him and that. My mindset was always like, even if I try, like, slack off, I just get in my head, no, come on, motherfucker, like, keep going. Like, but yeah, I don't think I'm much different. I think it's just what you do every day is what makes you who you are. You know what I mean? Put the work in. Like, I believe if you just keep putting the work in, keep improving, things will come around. You know what I mean? But yeah, I've obviously gone and done the hard yards over there, but I loved every minute of it. I loved them testing me. I loved all of that. Obviously, I watch a lot of the old school stuff, so I really like that, like, hardcore stuff. But yeah, I know where I want to be and what I want, so I'm just gonna not stop until I get that. That's me. That's what motivates me, is obviously to get money, take care of my family, take care of everything around me. But yeah.
And what is it about fighting itself that you like, man? Like, what sort of part of the fighting do you enjoy?
Man, I don't even know. Like, I'm not a violent person, but it's just something about it. Like even if you try to go away from it, it brings you back. I think it's more so not even fighting, it's martial arts. And you like people always, even if you don't want to fight, just training gives you self-confidence. You feel good about yourself. You're healthy. You're learning new stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's good mentally. But I don't know. For me, I think it's just obviously now I'm fighting the best of the best. So it's a different feeling. But yeah, just obviously getting that respect as like you put the work in and you get the rewards from it. And you're known as you're the best guy around for doing it. Like just an athlete competition wise, you know what I mean?
And
Yeah.
anything negative, man? Like obviously you're a young guy. You've put your body through hell for
Yeah.
several years now. It must be, what is it, 8 years or so? You've been training pretty full on.
Yeah.
What do you think the negatives will be from that? Will your body be breaking down later? Blah blah. What do you feel? What do you feel about that?
So like training is good for your body, but like then fight training is just different to anything. You know what I mean? You're trying to break yourself down to the point, but just not overdoing it. You know, so but you got to also know when enough's enough to keep going longer, because obviously fighting is about the long distance. You know what I mean? How long you can keep going, so you can make more out of it. And obviously you want to protect your brain or stuff like that. But so far, I haven't had too many injuries. I had from Thailand, they sometimes tend to overtrain a lot. Like they don't understand. Okay, sometimes you got an injury, you need to rest it and that. So they get like when I was younger, I got a fracture in my past fracture in my L5. So little things like that set you back a bit. But the more I go on, the more I'm learning about the science behind it and how to take care of your body to actually improve your strength, improve everything. You know what I mean? Instead of just trying to, more. But you just gotta have a bit of a balance. But at the same time, it's hard when you got all the fighters in the gym and that you're just trying to push yourself.
Yeah, man. I think that pushing yourself, so hard for
Yeah.
so long has to have some detrimental effect eventually. But
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
you're thinking about
Definitely.
recovering that. For the brain, man, you mentioned the brain. What are your thoughts on that, on CTE, etc.? Like, and what can you do to kind of not avoid the risk because it's impossible, but just like maybe lessen the risk?
Not get hit. Nah.
That's part of it, isn't it?
Like, yeah. Take care in the gym. Like obviously you have your hard sparring, but be selective who you sparring at. Not everything you do, you have to be trying to kill each other. You save yourself for in the fight. When I was younger, I used to just sit there with the tires and you just keep beating on each other. Then the older you get, you learn more about it and you think about, having a family, future, and just daily living in that. But there's like in any contact sport, comes that risk. But like tomorrow I could walk, and something could happen. So I think if you live your life like not doing something because of the fear, then what's the point of living? Like, I think you got to take the risk in that to, reach that your full potential in that. So, but
That's true,
obviously
man.
we know the risk. Yeah.
A few of the UFC fighters these days are like, reducing their sparring. Max Holloway even said that he didn't spar at all for one of his championship
And
fights.
look how good he fought. Like, because obviously you get to a certain level and then you kind of understand. I think sparring is 100%. You need it. It's important. But like a lot of them say, like when they step back a bit from the hard sparring, where you're getting your injuries and then you're going in the fight less, like with kind of less an advantage in that. So yeah, you kind of got to, even it out. Sometimes hard and sometimes focus on a bit of technique, because sometimes you learn more. Like even in Thailand, we would spar sometimes, no gloves, no shin pads. You just playing around, catch, just trying to actually land instead of focusing on just trying to kill each other. And I definitely think it's important. People should learn more. Learning control over your own body.
Yeah, man. And you mentioned before about like taking care of your body. Obviously there's heaps of advancements being made, especially through MMA, where people are looking at things a little bit more scientifically, looking at, rest and recovery a little bit more, diet a little bit more, strength and conditioning. Can you talk about any of those things? Like what any of those things you're sort of integrating into your game? Actually, you already said about your the S&C and stuff. What are you doing?
Yeah. Like from where in Thailand, where I was very closed-minded on it, and that I think the problem is some people tend to forget about all the technical side and get too into the strength training. Like at the end of the day, fighting, if you're, no matter how strong you are, if you can't hit this guy, or you don't know the technique or the IQ or whatever behind it, there's no point in having that strength. So I think if you can put those together, and it's more like the injury prevention and stuff like that is what's really good. But for the MMA, especially, you needed a bit, like you think off on the ground and like trying to get up, like you need your strength. But yeah, it definitely helps if you can get a good coach and blend it into your training evenly, so you're not over trained for your actual striking and that training, you know. So I'm a big believer. What wins a lot of fights is more so the IQ. When you're at the same level, I think it's more so how your brain can work, your IQ and your technique about like a game of chess. You know what I mean? That's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, man. Like it's true, and it's a difficult balance because you know, like actually listening to John Donaher, the BJJ
He's
coach.
good.
He talks about like he doesn't get his guys to do strength and conditioning. He doesn't believe in it so much, although some of them do on their own, because he believes, if you're going to focus time, you need to focus on technique because there's so much to learn,
100%.
like technique and the cardio training should be sparring or rolling or whatever for them. So you don't want to dedicate too much time to that side stuff, right? When you've got the thing of technique and that to learn.
Yeah, you definitely at the highest level, you definitely need obviously that conditioning, and you need to be so fit because like when you're tired in the ring or whatever, nothing wants to come out when you're unfit. So if you can get your fitness right up, your strength, everything's there, and then you've got the IQ and that, like you're pretty unstoppable. Like that's, so you got to just find, like I said, trial and error, finding what works for you and what makes you feel the best and, get the best out of your performance and that.
And man, what have you done for your strength and conditioning work? Because man, looking at that Sam A fight, even though it was 2 years ago now, you held it right up to the end. That was a tough, grueling fight, but you still looked pretty strong in the last round, man.
Yeah. Like for me, I hate that fight. Like it was good that I stayed in there with him, but I was just having the time off. And then like I had 7 months off doing nothing. I was like 70 kilos, pretty chubby. And then it was like, oh, we want you to fight in 6 weeks. So I was like, oh shit. And in my head, I was like fighting, let's do it. What have I got to lose? So, but now I'm learning sometimes it's better to step back and be a bit patient and choose a bit wise. You know what I mean? You don't need to just jump into stupid fights like that because he's, Sam A is a living legend. But at the same time, like you never know what's going to happen. So, you got to just sometimes take it on, But yeah, he kicks hard and he's just such a good level. Like, so I always wanted an opportunity. Like, obviously I always wanted to be big enough to fight Senchai or someone like that. Like that was always my dream to fight a living legend. So I did it. And me and him had a good chat after, and he just said, just keep going. Like he said, just keep pushing. You'll be a world champion. So like, it was good little wise chats with him and that. But the conditioning, just training, just hard training, lots of pads, just stuff like that. And more mental, I think even if
you look good, man, even if it was a short build up, man, you look good. As far as the conditioning goes, you kept going.
I wish I was fighting that now. Like I feel so much better now that I've been back in the gym for a while. Like I would have loved to fight that, but it is what it is. You can't dwell on the past. You just keep moving forward. Without those experiences, I wouldn't keep advancing with, my mentality and that. So it definitely helps.
Yeah, man. And what have you been doing as far as rest and recovery? Have you taken into account any of those things that people are doing these days? Like, your sauna, ice baths, making sure you sleep correctly.
For sure. Yeah, 100%. I go down to P3 down in Burley and that, and they take care of the ice baths. They got the hot, like the heated ones, the cold one, all that stuff, saunas, whatever. Yeah, they look after us. But like, and massages, obviously. I got Phoenix Remedial, they help me out. She helps me out. But yeah, like I think everyone's different. Some people struggle to keep pushing through it. But you kind of, I only take like 1 day off a week, but you kind of just feel your body. Today you're totally buggered. Okay, you're gonna go backwards more. Okay, maybe talk to your trainers, tone it down a little bit, and then tomorrow you'll come back better. It's hard as a fighter. A lot of the time you get that mentality, more. I think sometimes you got to just, if your trainers can see it, they'll talk to you. Okay, today we'll go a little bit easier than, before you know it, you come back better. But yeah, just the same stuff, cold baths, massages, just like that. And obviously trying to get good sleep helps a lot.
What do you do for your sleep, man? What's your like ideal sort of sleep for the night?
I usually just try to be in bed by like 10 o'clock. I usually take a while to sleep, maybe because I have coffees in the afternoon or something. But I don't know, like
how many hours per night?
10:30. I think probably get 7 hours, 8 hours.
Yeah, I think 7 hours is kind of a minimum, they say. But I reckon someone training like you probably should be trying to get a little bit more, bro, because 7 hours minimum for a normal person, man. So Need a bit
And
more.
I take like about afternoon before training, I have like little naps and that, little 30-minute naps and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Because after the morning training, you're a bit tired, you hit a wall and you come back stronger. But yeah, it's obviously like everything, you got to find what works for you and trial and error, build off it.
And what about diet, man? You mentioned you love the Thai food or Asian food. What do you
Yeah,
do
yeah,
for
yeah.
your diet? Do you pay much attention to your diet?
Yeah, I always try to eat. I don't like even saying like diet. I think that's a bit of a missed thing. I just like to, eat real food, eat good, and just watch your proportions. Like I love food so much. So sometimes out of fight camp, I might just eat too much. But like I always try. I think actually being in Asia was better for me because it got me away from hamburgers and all that stuff. Now I want just my rice and just like real food. You know what I mean? So I love my spicy and garlic or whatever, all that stuff. But yeah, just eat real food, watch your proportions, and
Yeah.
you're pretty sweet. I don't think you need to go too crazy on it.
Yeah, man. Last thing I want to ask, man. You've obviously touched on it that you want to sort of take your time and sort of get into MMA a bit. What's your goals for the sort of short-term future and then for the long-term future outside of fighting?
Yeah, so I'm always thinking long-term, but like short-term, it's just keep improving, get better, win. Obviously, just keep winning fights, build my name, build everything, and then just take it as it comes. You know what I mean? Wait for the opportunities, and then like everything can change so fast. So you just keep winning, keep training, and then hopefully everything will come to me. Or you know what I mean? And obviously, yeah, the long goal is to the big time, go to UFC, and then just build from there, get the belt. But it's not even so much the belt; it's just about being the most dominant in the division or whatever I'm doing, and just be the best. Be the best in the world, and then everything come.
All right, man. And what about beyond fighting, man? When you finally decide to hang up the gloves, what's your ideal thing you'll be doing then?
Yeah, it's hard to say now, but for me, it's about build yourself up to it. I don't think you need to fight forever. Fight until you've done enough. I think people struggle to let it go a lot, and it's kind of sad sometimes. But I think you need to find some other hobbies as well. You can't fight forever. Obviously, your body doesn't hold up, but it's about building your name, build your money enough, and then maybe go and invest in some real estate. Invest in something. That's my plans at least. Invest in something, and or even give back to people. I want to obviously maybe have a gym, help people out. Just take it as it comes. I feel like there's so much you can do.
Yeah, man. Just listening to you talking now and also in some of your interviews, I think you'll be a good teacher, man, for the future. You just seem that sort of guy, like the way you sort of give over a bit of your knowledge and the way you talk about things. I think you'd be a good teacher. So I hope that can be a goal in the future, bro.
I do really enjoy teaching people. I think in the past I've had some bad trainers that it's mislead you and that, so it's helped me a lot also. So I want to give people the correct guidance, but sometimes it's hard because not everyone wants to. They don't give you the effort. So you got to be kind of selective too sometimes, and who really wants to be good. It's up to them at the end of the day. Someone can only help you so much.
That's it, man. All right, man. Well, that's the end of the interview. Thank you so much for your time. Shout out to Nugget for helping to arrange this too, man. Thank you, and thanks for your time today. Wishing you all the best, man, especially with your upcoming MMA fight later this year, and also in the future, man. So if possible, I'd like to catch up with you sometime in the future, man, and wishing you all the best.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much for having me on. Take it easy.
Cheers, bro.